Hi, I'm Trish. Welcome back to my kitchen. This is Crockpot Week. I am doing this for my sister who is in the middle of a remodel and doesn't have access to her oven right now. So we are trying to dream up everything we can to put in a crockpot because that's what she has available. I am going to make a crockpot lasagna today, and this is an experiment. There is no recipe. I've never done it before, but we're going to just use what works. We're going to use our intuition and do things that we know will probably turn out okay. She does have a hot plate, so she's able to heat beef. If you're not in the United States, I do want to explain this is not beef. This is actually plant-based. It functions like beef, but it's made from peas and beets. So it's plant-based. There's no animal product in it at all. I'm going to use this like I would use beef in lasagna and make a sauce. So I'm going to chop an onion and we are going to brown our pretend beef. And then we're going to put layers into the crock pot and we're going to set it to cook for about 3 hours on low while we take the dog to the park and do some other chores around the house. My dog looks forward to meeting up with his friends every afternoon at the park. He's an American field lab and we don't hunt. He is for diabetes support. He has a very good sniffer. And his parents produced 25 dogs, and they're all working dogs, which I think is really amazing. He has 3 siblings that do avalanche rescue, which isn't that incredible? And he has 4 siblings that assist diabetics like myself and can help them determine when their blood sugar is going to change. So he's got a really important role, but he's not on duty all the time. He deserves to have time off and go play, and he has a whole social circle of friends that he likes to go and see. So he's got Luna and Winnie and Rio, little Gracie, and then Jason. There's a whole bunch of them. And truthfully, all the dog moms and dads are my friends too. So I look forward to this as much as anybody. I don't want this to be overly oniony, so I'm going to put about half of the onion in, and I'm going to open this and we'll put it on the burner. The noodles I'm using today are in a plastic bin, so you can't tell the brand, but they're Barilla, and they're no boil noodles. I have made pan, like stovetop lasagna before, and you can use either kind. I love the no boil. I just like the texture and the taste. I think that it turns out really well. So we'll put this on our burner and we're going to soften the onions, and we'll add our Impossible burger, which is made from plants, and then we'll assemble our lasagna. Because our meat that we're using is plant-based, there isn't natural fat, so I'm going to add butter. Plus, if you know me, I just freaking love butter, and I find a reason to put it in everything I do. But this will help brown the meat better if we add a little bit of butter first. I love using cast iron. Lodge is my favorite, and it's just so gosh darn easy to clean up. Nothing sticks to it. If you make eggs in a pan like this, oh, it makes the most phenomenal omelets. I make a frittata and I brown some potatoes in there and then pour an egg mixture on top, and then I stick it in the oven for about 25 minutes. It is absolutely amazing. Our onions are starting to become somewhat translucent, so I'm going to add our meat substitute. There are a number of products that try to mimic beef. Loma Linda makes one that will work, but I really don't love the taste of it. And my absolute favorite, if we're going to use pretend meat, is the Impossible burger. It just looks the right color. It smells right when it's cooked. And I think that it does a great job. You can even put this on the grill. So if you're trying to lean towards more plant-based food, you can still have a cookout and put burgers on the grill, and your burger is plant-based. As you can see, this has browned up very similarly to ground beef. I'm going to use a little bit of garlic powder. I like fresh garlic, but I don't have any available. I try to wait until the meat is nearly done cooking so that we don't scorch the garlic powder. It doesn't smell that good if you do. And of course, this is Italian food, so we're going to add some oregano. Probably a little more than we need. One of my very favorite herbs is thyme, so we're going to put some thyme in here. And something that makes mine a little different from everybody else's is dried rosemary. In the summertime, I grow the rosemary in my garden and then I dry it and use it through the winter. I'm going to add 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. The last step before I pull this off the burner is I'm going to add about half a can of water. Again, I've never done this before, not in the crock pot, but I do know that the noodles are going to need moisture to properly cook, and this sauce just isn't wet enough without the water. So we've wet it down, and it's not important to let it simmer like we would if we were serving it over pasta right away. It's going to have 3 hours in the crock pot. So I think we will pull this off right now and we'll start building our lasagna. Our sauce is partially cooked, so we're gonna make layers just like in a normal lasagna. It'll be a little tricky and we're gonna have to break the noodles because this is a round pan and not rectangle like we might be used to. And don't worry that your sauce did not have time to simmer. It'll be fine because it's gonna have 3 hours. So I'm gonna cover the bottom with a little bit of sauce. And then I'm going to break up the noodles, and these are the no boil. You can use the other one if that's all you have. Either will work just fine. And it doesn't have to be perfect. They can overlap a little bit. Just trying to make a nice layer in here. It's like a puzzle. It's sort of fun to put it together. I'm going to show you what this looks like inside. So you see we've got the first layer of meat and tomatoes, and then we've added a layer of noodles, and we're going to put another layer of our meat and tomatoes. We want to cover up the noodles. It's a little tricky holding the camera and putting together the lasagna, but we can get it done. We'll do this. Now we're adding our white cheddar. You can use mozzarella. You can use any kind of cheese that you like. This is yours. You make it the way you like. And next, I'm going to add another layer of noodles. Here we've got our second layer of noodles, and we're going to add some more sauce. At this point, I've got 3 layers of noodles and sauce. I'm going to add some Parmesan. We've got several layers of cheese on here. I've added fresh mozzarella. I've added a little bit more of the white cheddar. I put in some yellow cheddar. There's Parmesan. And I put a little bit of green parsley on top. I'm going to turn it on low and we'll cover it. Unlike our bread, this does not need to have a towel. We do want some moisture to accumulate on the lid and drip back down because that's what's going to make our noodles tender. I just got back from the dog park. This has had about an hour on low, and I don't think we're making a lot of progress, so I'm going to switch it to high and give it another hour. Again, this is an experiment. I don't know how this is going to work, but we'll see. Well, it's been 2 hours. We gave it 1 hour on low and another on high. And I think we're ready. It's bubbling around the sides. Maybe I should let it bubble in the middle. I'll be honest, I'm not sure. I poked the noodles to see if they were tender, and they are. But I would feel better if it was bubbling in the center, and it isn't quite doing that yet. I think what I'm going to do is put a paper towel between this and the lid and see if I can dry it out a little bit. Well, there's my setup. I'll give it about 15 more minutes. We'll see how we do. The paper towel was a good idea. It's wicking a lot of the water away, so our lasagna should be able to dry out a little bit. We didn't want it quite so soupy. Oh, look at that. That is perfect. I'm going to dish this up, but I'd say this is a win. It's a little challenging to hold the camera and spoon it carefully into a dish, but I'm going to try. Okay. There we go. Oh, wow. Wow, that actually turned out better than I thought. That's gorgeous. There we go. Even looks like real lasagna. Here's our gorgeous crockpot lasagna. Isn't that beautiful? I bet it's yummy too. Smells delicious. I hope you make this and I hope you love it. Bon appetit. One last thing. Not only did we gorge ourselves on it, it comes away clean, so it doesn't cause a huge mess in the crock pot. Look at that, where we scooped away, it didn't stick at all. So that'll be a really easy cleanup. And to me, that's important. I love the shot, you can see the layers. I also wanted to add that you don't have to make your own homemade sauce. You can use a jar of Prego or Hunt's, whatever makes you comfortable. I like to start with tomatoes because I like the texture, but it isn't required. You make it your own.